Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, my fellow pirates, we are going to do a little bit of a different discussion today. More so just kind of a little bit more melted down one. I was trying to come up with some ideas for what character I could discuss and couldn't really figure anything out. Didn't really have anything already pre-prepared, and so spent just the whole time trying to figure out what Friday's video was going to be. So I decided, since we're already past the month of John Cena's retirement match, I'd figure, hey, let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about his career and how I was, my experience with him. Which brings us to our first question, as we asked usually in part 2s of my characters discussion videos, is how was I introduced to John Cena? Well, I think like with anybody, it was either through family members that also enjoyed watching wrestling, particularly my cousin Noah. Shout out to him. Hope y'all are doing good in Cape Town. They're currently doing missions in Cape Town right now, as South Africa. He kind of introduced me to two separate wrestlers. He, of course, one of them being the very person we're talking about, John Cena, and the other one, CM Punk. I remember him always talking about John Cena all the time. Anytime I was like 7 or 8 years old, we would go visit them in the summer and spend time with him. And anytime we played a wrestling game, he always picked John Cena. And I think, in a way, also kind of affected my brother's Seth's decision in what wrestler he picked, and he just stuck with John Cena. Personally, for me, although I knew who John Cena, well, I was aware of John Cena, but I didn't really know who John Cena was. And this brings us to our next question, kind of, not to cut the first question short. Did I like him as a wrestler then? I didn't really watch much wrestling then. I mostly played the games. Honestly, I don't know. I kind of did liked him, and I kind of didn't. I'm like, I wasn't too sure. It was kind of the same deal with Triple H at that time, because like I kept on finding that one guy that I would connect to, and back then, that one guy was Shawn Michaels for me during his career, his like post after being born again. And I really stuck with Shawn Michaels, and I liked his moves. I liked the super kick a lot, or his sweet chin music as they call it, and I just stuck with him. And then there's this big buff guy who wears sweatbands and jorts, and it's like, I can't really connect with that. I don't know, he has this weird move where he just what's it called, fireman hold, then just flips them over onto their back, and I'm like, what? I don't get it. It's like, is he supposed to be like a Superman-esque wrestler almost, which is kind of ironic, because they did call him like Super Cena around the time I found out about him. Now this also kind of goes towards the next question. What did I not like about him back then? Honestly, he seemed kind of bland. He seemed kind of bland as a wrestler. He didn't really have anything eye-catching. Now, if I was a young kid, if I was watching wrestling at like 5 years old when he started getting popular, and watched him as like the beginning portions of John Cena, probably would have thought he was bland. And then eventually, when he became Dr. Thugonomics, I probably would have liked him. I probably would have. But I was at the point where, he's already past Dr. Thugonomics, and now he's Super Cena, you can't see me ordeal, and he's a good guy at this point. And so I'm like, I don't really care. I really have no connection with the guy. And it's like, I don't know. It's strange. It's like it's not like he wasn't like a well-built wrestler or anything. I don't know. It's just something about him back then I couldn't really connect towards as a kid. And it didn't really work for me. And especially with how I grew up later on and saw a bunch of the memes, it's like, okay, so this guy is a joke. Like, everybody's like screaming, "Do do do do! It's John Cena!" The whole meme that was made back then in like 2014, 2012. That whole meme. Heck, I think it's been around a lot longer than that, actually, now that I think about it. But it's like, it's been a meme for so long. I'm like, how am I supposed to take this guy seriously? And so this goes to our next question. Do I enjoy him now? Yeah, a whole lot more than I did back then. I actually got to watch early 2005 Cena. I got to see that clip. They have it on YouTube. It is fantastic. It's really interesting. It's weird seeing the beginning portions of him because he was probably around a little older than me when he first started. My current age, which I'm 25 right now. He's probably, I think he started at 25 when he was brought in the WWE. He was out of OEW. I can't remember when exactly he started wrestling training. I'll have to look that up later. But that's the first meeting he had with Kurt Angle. What makes you different than everybody else? And he goes, ruthless aggression. Maybe not like that, perform that way, but just like trying to sound just, like a very visceral and kind of angry dude. And so, after seeing that and then seeing Dr. Thugonomics for the first time, I got to be introduced to the word whack through John Cena, being a white guy that acts like a black guy. And it was like he personified that almost, but with more so in a way that it's like, oh, it's a character rather than a parody. It works. He was disrespectful. He was his own dude. He got up into people's faces. He made raps about dissing folks. It was crazy. And then like later on, he would get dissed by those same guys he would get. He would diss like Kurt Angle or Big Show. Heck, I think even JBL at one point. I could be wrong. I'm completely wrong on that. Heck, actually, speaking of JBL, I'll have a little bit of a caveat here. I actually got to meet JBL for the first time alongside his old tag partner Ron Simmons when they were Farouk and I forgot his name then. I think it was just Bradshaw at that time. And I got to meet the both of them. Real interesting guys. Got to talk about during that time when John became a heel. Really interesting. Heck, if I'm able to, I might be able to download the photo of me and JBL and Ron Simmons maybe a little bit later on. I don't know. Maybe I'll just upload it in a short, but it was really interesting. And we'll get to the Last Time Is Now retirement tour in just a second, but going back and actually really seeing what all I missed was really interesting for me. And it made me actually respect Cena a lot more as a wrestler. I mean, I also began to like him as an actor. And people can get mad at this for me saying this. I think genuinely John is a better actor than The Rock. Genuinely. Because people would argue, well, John's just playing himself. Okay. I mean, he's doing it in such a way it doesn't feel bland. And The Rock, I haven't seen his new movie. I've mentioned that before. I think he did a really good job, but for some reason it did so bad. I don't know. It was about that UFC fighter, or what was it? Kickboxer? I don't know his name, but he was like a legendary UFC fighter. I don't know if it's any good. Let me know in the comments down below if that was any good of a movie at all. But to get back to the point, I do enjoy him now a lot more. Also seeing some of the stuff that like during the PG era as well, where I got an idea of like, okay, it's not too bad, and then seeing little bits and pieces of him and CM Punk's rivalry at the time, great. It was fantastic. The pipe bomb promo, I saw that the first time maybe like a year and a half ago. I was like, no, a year ago. It was a year ago when I saw it for the first time. It was crazy. Just absolutely crazy. And not only seeing the rivalry with him, I got to see bits and pieces of when the Shield came up with Roman and Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, who's his real name, John Moxley, and got to see their feuds with him and many of the other wrestlers, and seeing why the Shield got so popular, and then on top of their interactions with the other wrestlers in the back, making themselves feel like outsiders, which was a cool idea. And so also Cena learning how to navigate that and going slowly away from the PG era and having Vince having a little less authority on the story a little bit. I can tell here and there was some actual good story bits here and there. I will say during that era when they were kind of getting away from the PG era, I think they did Sting horribly in WWE. Genuinely, I've seen the bits. Hey, they were good. I liked the bit with the statue and everything, but where he destroyed Rollins' statue. Hey, don't get me wrong, I don't like Rollins at all, and I would like to see stuff like that of his get mashed to pieces. But it's like, you still kind of did my boy Sting dirty. Like, TNA did so much better for him. Well, of course WCW did better before him, because he was integral for that company at the time. So, with that being said, and his interaction with Cena was really interesting. I like that little kind of intermingleness of two stories at that time, and then Cena just kind of wanting to branch out his wrestling a little bit more, actually seeing him do other moves, like the sunset flip. I was surprised with that. And then, of course, more of the new generation stars that were trained by Dusty around like 2014, 2015, like of course Seth Rollins, like Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Becky Lynch, all these different people that eventually would become the wrestlers that they are today, and future Hall of Famers, I might add. It's really interesting how Cena still kind of became relevant on top of going into acting, and seeing him navigate that and still kind of be relevant, especially with the United States Open Challenge, which is a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea to kind of bring a title match every night. Like, heck, I mean, other wrestlers still do it. I mean, my boy Carmelo got United States style. I used to not like Melo, ironically enough, but then something just, a switch flipped after the Miz turned on him and turned heel again, and I'm like, okay, maybe I should give this guy a chance. Gave the guy a chance, and now he's a United States champion. And in a similar vein, as I saw more and more of his stuff, and then of course being introduced to AJ Styles for this first time and his rivalry, he's like my Mondo favorite wrestler. If y'all haven't seen my AJ Styles video, you should go back and watch it. It's one of the more first scripted videos I did. Their matches were good. I actually recently watched the one in Perth. 38 minutes of just pure awesome wrestling. So I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. But with that being said, we can go ahead and move on to the next question. Is there anything I don't like now? It felt like they didn't really know how to use him in certain times. It's like, especially, I'll say this much, like, especially when he was going to Hollywood a little bit more, he showed up less and less, and then, I mean, he still made good things. Heck, I've heard the Firefly match was fantastic. I still need to watch that. I don't know, I might watch that live. I gotta figure out how to stream it at some point, but anyway, let me think. Honestly, if there was anything I didn't really enjoy, is like, I guess it's when his wrestling would get bland again. They call it the 5 moves of doom. It's like for every wrestler, there's the 5 moves of doom. Arguably, I'd say one wrestler has the 1 move of doom, that stupid curb stomp. His curb stomp sucks. I'm sorry. However, I will say another caveat a little bit, and then we'll get back to the point at hand. Austin Theory's curb stomp is way better than Seth Rollins. Fight me. I do not care. I do not care. Excuse me. Anyway, I'm being ridiculous. It's like, and you put him with people where, like, let me give you an example. I forgot which one it was. It's when Suplex City became a thing, and he got squashed. And he got completely squashed. And then that Undertaker match, he got completely squashed. He thought that was going to be the best for business. And people were hoping, he would actually have a genuine match during those times. And I'm like, okay, I don't like the fact that they don't know what they're doing with him. And it feels like they're kind of doing a disservice to him a lot of the time. Despite being like, basically, he is the modern day Hulk Hogan. He's the guy that's maybe not necessarily the golden goose, but he's done a lot for the business. He's done a lot for wrestling in a whole. And honestly, I wish we were able to get better stuff for him. But we got what we got. And I think the way he worded it is like trying to wish for something to happen. It's like, hey, it's gone. What's the point of trying to speculate now? And there's nothing wrong with speculation, but if you spend so much time speculating, you'll never be able to move forward. And I appreciate that mindset of his. And so another thing that I will say I do not like is, well, I guess his vagueness sometimes. I think it's not necessarily because he's a bootlicker. He's not. Far from it. It's more so he's just got respect for the company that made him who he is. As not only as a wrestler, but a actor. As a person, as a human being, someone to be enjoyed. I mean, it's like his vagueness a lot of the time. It's like, okay, I get it. You're trying to not throw anybody under the bus, but you can say what you're actually saying, which it just depends on what he's talking about. I'd say if it comes to certain storylines, I feel like with a guy like him, who's his way of storytelling, you'd think he would kind of disagree with some of the decisions Vince made back then. You'd think he would disagree with some of the decisions with Triple H and The Rock, especially The Rock. I think he needs to just stop wrestling, by the way. Maybe he needs to have his own retirement match at some point. I don't know. Oh, I have somebody calling me. Give me just a second, I'll be right back. Well, never mind, that was just a waste of time. Soon after, it was like a few seconds. Anyway, so, how can I say this? It's like they had a lot of wasted potential. A lot of wasted potential when it came to Cena. There could have been so many, and arguably that's what happened in the last time. It kind of reflected his career anyway, which is, I think that's kind of interesting, kind of sad at the same time, but it's like there's so much that they could have done, and especially, so let's go ahead and head to the next question. Did I enjoy the Last Time Is Now tour? To an extent, yes, and another extent, no. Did I enjoy the setup for a lot of things at the beginning? I did. I feel like there was a lot of hints towards a lot of different directions. We could have had a moment with CM Punk. We could have had maybe a heel Randy at one point again. We could have had all this different stuff happen in 2025. I mean, it's interesting. And the fact that we also had The Rock come back as a prominent figure, it's like, okay, maybe we can even have a rematch, a third match between those two, which is, let's be honest, I'm not surprised it didn't happen with the way that things turned out. And I think with what I liked is the moments of time where we got good matches. We did. It was weird to see him, I mean, kind of consistently, because I remember him specifically saying he had to show up for like 220 days during his tenure there, and I'm like, gosh, that's quite a lot of time. And then like during Hogan's time, it was like 365 days, almost the entirety of each year, which is just wild to think about, and the amount of bumps you have to take during that time. Oh my gosh. No wonder many of those wrestlers got pain pills and stuff, and it's sad to hear. It really is. And so it's with the way it is now, with him showing up less, I think it makes sense for him physically. Mentally, he probably could do another 200 days. He could have had plenty of more stuff. He could have made the match, like made his tour a little bit longer, but they basically made it shorter on purpose to kind of give him some room to breathe and also possibly maybe pick up a roll or two. And so I think one of the things that I really enjoyed about, I'll say this, the heel turn was great. It reminded me of, I think, and this is not just me, this is everybody else as well, it's the heel turn that Hogan had back then. It's like the big Mondo babyface is becoming a heel. And in a way, we kind of got an NWO version of Cena. Like, he didn't really necessarily change. His colors didn't necessarily change either. I mean, with Hogan, he just changed his outfit to black and white. And he became more and more of a jerk and a pompous turd, which is on purpose because he started reflecting how he kind of was back in the 80s. And so it's kind of interesting seeing, well, I wouldn't call Hogan pompous, I would say more arrogant than pompous. And it's like having this, like, okay, mentality as he's explained in like different interviews, and says like, oh, I'm gonna ruin wrestling. And so he turns on the audience just like Hogan does. It's a really interesting thing. It's like, oh, that first promo after the heel turn? Are you kidding me? Where he blasted that kid? That was great. That felt like real storytelling, and that made me feel animosity towards him. Especially the night he turned heel in Elimination Chamber last year. Gosh, I was not too happy with that. But the storytelling was really good with that. I just still think it was wasted potential with The Rock. I think he should have been more involved. I know he's more of a Hollywood guy than a wrestler now. A lot of people would argue Cena's that way. No, I think Cena's been a wrestler his entire career, but just dipping his toes to eventually actually be really good at acting. But point being, there's certain things that we can look back at and say, okay, these were good, but these were bad, and we could have had this. In a way, that entirety of the tour reflects his career. It reflects how it was for people. In a lot of cases back then, there were some times where there was a lot of uproar where Cena was brought back. A lot of uproar for matches with Cena. Like, for example, like they did with this year, what they did with AJ Styles. They made it seem like it was like John was upset with the company for not bringing AJ. I thought it was real. Genuinely, I thought it was real. And I'll talk about it a little bit more in a moment, but to finally get that AJ match makes so much sense. And I think it kind of makes sense like halfway through. Heck, it was like 6 months, even shorter than that, maybe 5.5, right at SummerSlam before Cody would win the belt back. It made a lot of sense for John to maybe just officially just actually come back as a good guy. I felt like it was a little rushed. I will agree on that, but it makes sense for like, okay, I've been doing this for about however long, and now I'm starting to feel the repercussions of what I'm doing. I don't like being this guy. I don't want to ruin the thing that I helped create. I don't want to do that. It's something interesting when it comes to that version of Cena. The heel Cena that we got, it makes sense. It's a lazier, a more selfish, a more argumentative, it's like the rebellious version of Cena finally came back without being Dr. Thugonomics again. And it could have been handled better here and there. There were a lot of great moments, especially with that promo with that kid in there. That poor kid. And then eventually you make up with the kid was great. It was great. And then have that match with Randy over in I forgot what the PLE was. Was it Clash at the Castle? No, that's like more so near the fall. I can't remember what it was, but it was a really, really good match then. And then having the match with CM Punk being the Punkonomics. Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. I actually enjoyed that. That was really, really good. And I was genuinely surprised how they handled that. I thought it was good. I haven't seen the match yet because I was busy with a lot of other things at that time. And I want to see. I've heard a lot of mixed stuff about it. I want to get an idea of what that was like. So, I digress. Give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. And I'll say this, having these moments of time where we got Punk versus Cena, we got Randy versus Cena, to just kind of call back to all these different places in time. It's great. Heck, I'm glad we got something for AJ. But also to have interactions with the new people, the newer people, the newer stars. And as much as I don't even like the guy, the 30-year-old washout known as Logan Paul, genuinely, I was surprised how they handled the tag team. I was really happy with how they handled the tag team. I think it was during Money in the Bank, which is at the beginning of June, I believe, or at the end. I can't remember all the PLEs because there's so many different PLEs. I mean, even NXT borrows from old PLE or pay-per-view names, and so how can I say this? It was an interesting idea to have him interact with a genuinely really hated wrestler on top of having his own heat as a heel, and it worked to really, really well, especially seeing that tag match and seeing that interaction that they had where they just stopped getting along, stopped trying, and to eventually kind of have something lead up to a actual match between them, which I've seen all the different stuff they were doing, and it wowed me. I will say, no matter how much you can crap on Logan Paul, his performance does not dampen. Now, 10, 15, 20 years from now, probably will. And especially since he's becoming a full-timer, if any of you haven't heard, it's happening, unfortunately. I think it's very interesting that we got, and this was like before the turn as well, back to being a babyface for Cena. It's really interesting, like the seeds planted here and there, and then you would get to that SmackDown segment where he's apologizing and saying like, hey, look, I've got this movie set I gotta be at, I can't do this right now, you deserve a rematch, but I can't do it right now, we're gonna have to do it another time, we can't do it at SummerSlam. And I think we also genuinely got bits and pieces of Cody maybe possibly becoming a heel, and he did a very heel thing as a babyface, forcing him to sign it, which is interesting. And so it's like, okay, great, we got something with that. And I mean, honestly, I would definitely like to see a heel Cody at some point. I'll leave it at that. To eventually get that really great match at SummerSlam. Oh my gosh. Fantastic match between them two. Cody winning the belt back, and then at the end, Brock Lesnar returning, which when I watched it for the first time, I'm like, hold on, how is he here? He's not supposed to be here technically. He is not legally allowed here. Like, soon as I hear the I'm like, what? You're legally not allowed to be here. What are you doing? And I was more so I didn't know what to think. I was kind of dumbfounded they were able to have him come back and set up something with Cena a little bit and just have him just F5, basically another mini squash match at the end, which anyway, and we'll get into what I did not like about it in a moment. And then we're gonna go ahead. Logan Paul match was great. Mentioned that already. The AJ Styles match. That's a 5-star match. That is genuinely a 5-star match. And a shout out to Mr. Mark Calloway. It didn't need to be at the Tokyo Dome in order to be a 5-star match. Yes. Just needed a guy who wrestled in Japan to make it better. Anyway, I digress. That was great. Oh my gosh, the eventual lead up to where Cena would win the Intercontinental Championship. That's eluded it for a long time. We need Sheamus to have that belt next, please. But I was super surprised they would give it to Cena, especially so how late it was into the tour, and it was interesting. I'm glad he beat Dom. I genuinely went back and watched the entirety of the match, and I'm like, this was good. He got to make a reference to one of his other previous opponents who was really good friends with Eddie, as well as with Cena. Eddie Guerrero, fantastic, great match. And this is before Liv returns, least favorite female wrestler. Blech. Or not even a favorite at all. Like, she's, I'm not gonna go into that, but that'll be all over the place if we talk about her. So, having that moment, having him win that IC title, having that little interaction between him and Ray, really great. Having that moment of time where, okay, we get a rematch forced later on for Elimination Chamber. He loses it due to the fact that, okay, Dom being the heel, Liv coming back and tricking Cena to lose the belt, and it was good. Now to the next question. This is going to be interesting for me. Honestly, I feel like with what I didn't like about the tour is it did feel rushed. I felt like we could have had a little bit more time with it. I felt like maybe certain things should have been done, not out of wanting to do it because like everybody's complaining about it, it's not happening. And I mean, we were going to get certain things regardless, but people kept on complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. Of course, I did not like how the fact that The Rock basically intermingled into the story in order for Cena to turn into a heel. That was trash. He should have just kept out of it and would have had a better reason to turn heel. The moment was great, don't get me wrong, but I don't think Dwayne should have gotten his hands on that story regardless. I think he is trash when it comes to wrestling storytelling. He should stay out of it. I like the interactions he had with Cody. It kind of worked, but it's like he should have stayed out of Cena's story. He should have. And only should have been there when, oh, so you're the good guy again. Now I gotta go put you in your place kind of ordeal. I would have liked that out of Rock. We would have gotten an actual real match between them. But it's like the way it was handled, that stupid WrestleMania 41 match at the end being the main event, that was so trash. Travis Scott does not belong in a wrestling ring. I'm sorry, no matter how much he trains, he was the worst thing about the match. I was fine with Cena's performance. He could have done a lot better. Cody could have been a lot better. It felt bland. Travis Scott running in, doing his stupid garbage. Should have stayed out of there. I mean, plenty of the other matches were okay. I think the triple threat we got with Roman and Punk was good, but we're not going to. Roman, Punk, and Rollins was good, but we're not going to get into that. It's just the way that they handled some of his heel stuff just didn't work. The stuff with Randy worked. The stuff with Punk worked, but it just felt like the company was just kind of being pushed into different places. It felt like the fans, and I don't say this because I'm a fellow wrestling fan, and we can be passionate about what we enjoy, but the problem is we have too much say-so sometimes. And people can get mad at me for saying this. People can. I don't care. We do not have a say-so on how companies run. No matter how much we want to believe, oh, this is a moneymaker match, this is gonna, we don't. I don't like the fact that the fans have become, us fans, authority has become more and more vocal and more heard to a way to where it's like a spoiled child in a way to appease the masses of sorts. And I don't agree with everything that Triple H has done last year. I don't like the fact we're going back to Vegas for 42. I don't like the fact that there was some poor stuff with some other stuff that was poorly handled. And then, of course, I will talk about this after this question. Man, it's like I don't know how to handle this next part because it's like people are not going to like what I say anyway. So anyway, I think the fans were a little too much during that time, and I don't think it's just more so how passionate we are a lot of the time. I don't exclude myself out of it because I'm passionate about certain things. I'm openly about what I dislike and what I don't enjoy about wrestling and what I do, and so it's like I feel like we have become more of an issue. Like we're expecting Triple H to do everything that we want. No, he's at the end of the day, he's still a businessman. And this is more of a kind of a caveat, kind of bullet point here as I'm talking about this. And it was handled the way he was handled. John said, hey, I'll follow what you need. If this change is here, fine. I'll go with it. He's just doing what he thought was best for business. And I can respect that. Whether I agree with it or not. Okay, so this brings us to our next question. Did I enjoy the retirement match? I think like the entirety of the retirement tour, yes and no. I like the story that was being told. But the way it was being told through the wrestling wasn't great. The ending was an interesting choice. I agree with the ending. I think they could have done it a little bit better. I wish we got more interaction between him and Gunther. Something maybe on like a Monday Night Raw where he comes back. But also, I think when John won the IC title in Boston, which is still fantastic, his hometown, I forgot what part of Boston, not Boston, what is it, Massachusetts, excuse me, was great. I wish we got another Monday Night Raw where we just had some sort of interaction, where we would see the tension build up, where Gunther wins. After winning that match, we could have gotten some sort of tension where he's like, I'm getting tired of your attitude and you need an adjustment. You know what I mean? Make a pun out of his wrestling moves. You know? Kind of this ordeal where the young buck needs to be put in his place, where it's the exact opposite, where it's like a Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair moment where the younger guy has to put the old man down. I wish we had something like that. More so in a way where it's handled differently emotionally. Make it more about, I'm going to beat you because I'm putting you down. I'm the best in the business. Something like that. That's a poor Austrian accent. I'm sorry. But just like be the heel he can be and get in his face. Tell him you're a washout. Tell him all this stuff. Have this interaction. I wanted that. And I think it was interestingly handled. I don't think Gunther was the worst choice in the world. I think it should have been played out better. We should have seen. Now, this is probably more so seen as like, okay, I am like really beat. We're at my last leg. I'm at my last bit of embers for wrestling right now. I cannot keep doing all the crazy stuff. Maybe one other thing, which he did a leg drop off the top rope, which is like, oh wow, that was an old one he hadn't done in a while. And I felt like, oh man, that almost seemed kind of dangerous. And it was cool. It was a cool move. I like that move. The leg drop off of the top rope. Anyway, that was a great spot. There were great spots. I mean, the power bomb on the power bomb to AA spot from the steel step into the announcement table. Great. I like that spot. I felt like the shoulder tackles were a little unnecessary. Could have had less of those. Could have had more moments where they're fighting back and forth. Maybe throwing some punches, Gunther chopping, maybe seeing Cena throw some chops out there, start pulling out some stuff he hasn't done in a while. I doubt he can do a sunset flip with Gunther, but he could have done like a Batista bomb or something to reference Batista and his rivalry with him back then. Unfortunately, due to time, we didn't get that. And so I felt like the match, I mean, it was decent. It had, the story was there, and if it was developed a little bit more, I think it would have been a good match regardless of the ending. But the ending we got made people upset, and after the match happened, like, I think I will say this, Mr. Levesque, that was handled poorly. Laughing in front of the fans, that was a bad idea. And I think he was more so happy for Cena to be done and ready to go and to give room. And like, the purpose of that match was to highlight, and the whole entire show of Saturday Main Event was to highlight the new talent coming up. The Obafemi match with Cody, fantastic. The tag match with Bayley and someone else. Who was it? It was Sol Ruka? Man, she was good. And I forgot who else. Was it Alexa Bliss and Charlotte that night? I can't remember. It was 4 matches, which I was surprised with. And then the match, I think AJ and Dragon Lee faced off with a couple other guys. I forgot. It's been a minute since I watched the pay-per-view or the PLE, but anyway. What was I saying? And I guess this also brings us to our next question. Do I believe he retired in the way he should have? I think he retired the way he wanted. I don't think he retired the way he should have. It should have been a little bit more respectful. It should have been a little bit more, not necessarily reverent, but just respectful. It should have been more respectful. It should have given him more time. Shouldn't have given him that ability to just not only have... I mean, I enjoyed the moment where Punk and Cody came out, gave him their belts to, show him respect, even though, like, he didn't really want to do it, which, honestly, I kind of don't blame him. But it's like, I think giving highlights to the new generation is what he wanted. Should he have done that? I think he should have done that, but to a way it still respected the reputation he created. And I felt like through some of the decision making during that show, it was a lot of the new stuff was shown, which is great. That's what we need. We need new stars. We need new people, but we also need respect to the legends. I'm going to say this much. I think his retirement should have been handled a lot better. And I doubt a lot of people are gonna agree with this. Will he ever return is the question. I don't think he will. I don't think he should. I think he says he's done. I don't think he should. I don't think he needs to push it too far. There's a reason why, and I enjoy Flair, but there's a reason why his wrestling was not good in TNA. There's a reason why Hogan's wrestling wasn't good in TNA. There's a reason why you don't push it past 50. There's a reason why you're not as strong as you used to be. You're not as capable as you used to be. And having them as examples, two great wrestling giants failing at what they were doing for the past who knows how long, shows that the older, the new wrestling giants of today is like, oh, I really don't need a return. And that's why AJ Styles is retiring this year, which is crazy to even think about. So no, I don't think he needs it. I don't think he'll return. Personally, I don't. Now, this brings us to our last question, and it's already a long video as is, and I've got to edit all that together, and I'll do that in a minute. In a little bit, because I got to go see what my family is needing in the moment. What are my overall thoughts on how people see his retirement? I think the people that view it negatively don't see the point of what he was doing. He was just respecting what what his company wanted him to do. I understand we are very vocal. People do feel like they're heard. We feel like we're actually being heard, but it's like, we're not WWE. We're fans of the WWE. No, and I haven't heard too much about how people were overly hyped. Surprisingly, I've heard mostly negative stuff. I wish we heard some more positives instead of negatives, which is kind of interesting because there's always been kind of a negative connotation with his career at the beginning, because it's like he had a bland beginning and then had a great change happen for his character becoming heel back then. And by the way, this was the second time Cena became heel, and then eventually would become the Cena that we know, and then eventually becoming, unfortunately, bland and all that. I think, like I said, the retirement tour is a complete reflection of his entire career wrapped up into one package. And it makes sense. There are great moments he showed what he could really do, and there was moments where it felt like Super Cena could have came back, or the bland version of Cena could have came back. And it's like, I agree with some of the wrestling fans. I agree with some of the people, the commentators and stuff like that. I wish there were certain things that were better. I just don't agree with everything. I don't think everything was mishandled. I think we just need to sit back and reflect on, this was not a mediocre retirement tour. It was a reflection of someone's career, whether perfect or not. And that's what I enjoyed about it. It felt like his reputation and career wrapped up into one. And it's really interesting. And so, with that being said, and to kind of end this portion of the video, I want to hear if there's any other wrestling fans who watch this, and I doubt they will. What's your opinion on it? I want to hear it. What are your overall thoughts on the retirement tour? What did you like? What didn't you like? What could have been better? I like starting conversations. I want to see where y'all are at. I want to see how y'all interpreted it, because I want to start a conversation. I want to hear from you. So anyway, if you enjoyed watching the video, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you want to be a part of the Bernhardt Pirate Brigade, and make sure to ring the bell to be notified of future videos and discussions of the such. This is the Captain signing off. Thank you again. I'm out. Peace.